Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Attorney John Deaton obviously was correct in warning for quite some time now that United States-based cryptocurrency exchanges were certainly under the microscope of the SEC, and now you have Binance today being sued by the SEC, Binance being the world's largest exchange, and they're also coming after Binance US. Apparently, they're the way that they've written up this thing is that basically funds looks like being commingled, that the claims along those lines, claims that Binance is controlling Binance US when they're supposed to be separate, all sorts of claims. And I can't at this point speak to the validity of those claims specifically, but I can tell you this right off the bat, and this is something that I think we're all going to rally around, is the nonsense claims that cryptocurrencies themselves, by the nature of them existing, are securities. Because the SEC has claimed today 12 cryptocurrencies are securities. And there's another one on the list, a new one that I happen to hold. So thanks for nothing, Kim Jong-Ginsler, continuing to try to ruin my personal financial well-being and the financial well-being of many others. And you know what else is interesting? Out of all the coins listed today, XRP is not listed. That's weird because you're claiming that XRP is a security. The embodiment theory, SEC v. Ripple case, but you're not mentioning it here, even though Binance has offered XRP. All right, let's unpack it all. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I'm not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And by the way, just as a quick reminder, Binance is under attack not just from the SEC, but also from the CFTC. You can see here is a press release from the CFTC, March 27th of this year. I'm not going to read through it. I mentioned this, of course, at the time, but just as a little table setter here, the CFTC is going after Binance as well. So you have the CFTC and the SEC, this jurisdictional tug-of-war here, which they're pretending isn't actually happening, because don't forget, Kim Jong-Ginsler has made it very clear that the rules are clear, right? And we're just supposed to believe that because of reasons, right? Well, here's a comment from Fox Business journalist Eleanor Terrett just this morning. She wrote, "New. According to a source close to Binance, the company knew there was a high likelihood that the SEC would file the exact same complaint the CFTC did, but marking the assets as securities. They were apparently not made aware that the action was coming down today." And so here's a headline from Cointelegraph. SEC sues Binance in U.S. District Court for unregistered securities operations. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission filed suit against Binance, its U.S. platform, and CEO Changpeng Zhao, or CZ for short, in the District Court for the District of Columbia on June 5th. The U.S. regulator pressed 13 charges against Binance, including unregistered offers and sales of the BNB and Binance USD tokens, the Simple Earn and BNB Vault products, and its staking program. In addition, the SEC alleges in the suit that Binance failed to register its Binance.com platform as an exchange or a broker-dealer clearing agency. Further, it claims Binance and BAM Trading, Binance.US's legal entity, failed to register Binance US as an exchange, broker, and clearing agency. CZ was sued as a controlling person. So look, again, basically, as far as I can tell, Attorney John Deaton basically Nostradamus here predicting the future. And here's a tweet from the official SEC Twitter account here. They wrote, "Today we charged Binance Holdings Ltd, Binance US-based affiliate BAM Trading Services Inc., which, together with Binance, operates Binance US and their founder, CZ, with a variety of securities law violations." Now, if you're looking on the screen, you can already see what I'm about to say here. They shared a little graphic here. And now, I'll just assume that this is actually true because, like, I understand that the SEC asset attorneys, like, they're slimy little pricks. They really are. But I doubt that they'd fabricate this. So this, I don't have full context, so I want to be fully informed, and I'm not 100% yet. But I doubt that they'd actually fabricate something like this. And this does, on the surface, at a minimum, look damning. Admittedly, there's this comment from Binance Chief Compliance Officer in 2018. He said, quote, We are operating as a effing unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro, end quote. Now, the SEC, they know that this looks damning, which is why they put this here. And it's interesting that they're trying this in the court of public opinion, and I think I have somebody commenting on that in this video. I got a bunch of tabs open now, and I think I'm including that in this video. I had to be somewhat choosy because there's so many people with so many perspectives. And I do, by the way, I have a perspective from multiple attorneys within this video. Unfortunately, nothing from Attorney John Deaton because his Twitter account was hacked. I'm confident he's going to be getting that back soon based on what I've seen to this point. And you've probably all heard about that story by now. But I do stuff from Attorney Hogan, Attorney Fred Rispoli, Attorney Morgan, and also Attorney James Murphy. But, excuse me, sorry, folks. Let me take a sip of water. I do something, though, from John Deaton's crypto law organization, which wrote the following. For the last 2 years, XRP and LBC communities have been put through hell by the consequences of SEC regulation by enforcement. Today, many other communities began the same journey. The SEC is a powerful common enemy. Crypto needs to unite to face it. Yeah, so I've said so many times over the last couple of years, because mind you, most of the last 2.5 years that XRP's been under attack, none of the other roughly 30 cryptocurrencies that I hold were under attack until more recently. Now the list is growing. Out of the cryptocurrencies that have been attacked, and there's been, I don't know, a couple dozen or so at this point that the SEC is claiming are securities. A few off the top of my head that's the case for would be, well, obviously XRP, but also Algorand, Dash, and today we found out Cardano. Apparently Cardano's a security. I've been holding that since 2017 also. It's just, the SEC, I'll tell you what, for an entity that is alleging to look out for investors like myself, they sure are doing a lot of harm to me and you. I'll tell you what. Funny how that works. Here's a tweet from Fox Business journalist Eleanor Terrett, and this is a quote that she shared from a former SEC official who chose to remain anonymous. The quote is, "I've never seen the SEC attempt to try a case in the court of public opinion. Usually they wait until after a case is settled to brag," end quote. Yes, that's what I was thinking of here. And then Eleanor wrote, "Do you think the SEC is sensationalizing the case before it goes to court?" Yes. Now, the thing is, though, if they think that they're going to win the court of public opinion, it's... Even if, to what degree is that even possible? Because if you're talking about like the people that are paying attention to this, that will act on any of it, they're the people like you and I who are in crypto. So even if they're able to convince anybody else who's a passerby who doesn't really know anything about what's going on, and they find a surface level comments compelling, it's not going to matter. Those aren't the people that are going to take action. The people that are going to take action are us. So if anything, they're prompting us to move forward faster against them. This is going to backfire on them. That's my perspective. That's how I feel right off. If they feel differently, tell me, give me a compelling case why. But I think that this is going to backfire on them, if anything. To what degree, we'll see. But no, I don't think that's going to help them. And then as far as XRP, let's talk about this because XRP was not listed in this complaint. Well, what the hell is that all about? XRP, they made the claims about XRP 2.5 years ago. You would have thought they'd throw that little son of a gun in here, right? But no, they didn't. Well, here's what Eleanor Terrett had to say about this. Some questions as to why the SEC did not name XRP as a security token in the Binance lawsuit. According to some of my legal sources, it could be one or all of a couple of reasons. And she's got three reasons cited here. Number one, the SEC wants to stay away from risking inconsistent decisions. Number two, it's already being litigated and referenced in other lawsuits. Why inject XRP into this dispute and open up potential discovery issues? 3, if Ripple wins, strategically it weakens the SEC's case against Binance in the eyes of the public, Congress, and the press. And I tell you what, that one might be the most damning out of those 3. Because I think the SEC very well understands that they may take a very severe defeat when it comes to the SEC v. Ripple case. And we're going to find out soon. But if that's the case, and they had XRP listed in this, it just weakens the other stuff. So, and it just goes to show the degree to which they're not operating in good faith here. It's all strategery. That's what it is. They're not operating in good faith. They're not. What was the quote from Judge Knepper? Not operating within faithful allegiance to the law, something to that effect. Yeah, well, there you go. Another example for you, folks. Then there's this from XRP community member and attorney Fred Rispoli. He tagged Charles Hoskinson. And don't forget all the nonsense that Charles Hoskinson said last year about the grand conspiracy around XRP. Not that I want to get into that again in this video, but knowing now that the SEC officially is going after Cardano, which pisses me off, because as frustrated as I am with the stuff that Charles Hoskinson said last year, I'm pro Cardano. I've been holding it since 2017, still have it, and it's just frustrating because it's one thing on the Charles Hoskinson stuff. Look, we need to come together and push back against the SEC, and I'll continue to articulate that and say yes, despite the nonsense that Charles Hoskinson said and the fact that I think that he said stuff that I'm not even convinced he believes for reasons I've explained in the past. I'm concerned because of what he said. There will be some people in our community, and I understand why. If you're one of those people, I'm not even going to blame you, honestly. But there are going to be people in our community now because of what Charles Hoskinson said. He just burnt bridges. And so that means less support. And it's just frustrating now that I see that another one of my cryptocurrencies that I hold is under assault from the SEC. So I'm just frustrated because Kim Jong-Gensler is just trying to wreck my net worth. That's what he's trying to do, and yours. So anyway, Fred Rispoli tagged Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano and co-founder of ETH, by the way. And he said, Charles Hoskinson, say it ain't so, my brother. I didn't know you were selling securities with Cardano. Why did you do that to us? Or are you telling me the SEC allegation that Cardano is a security is a sack of S-word? He's obviously being a little bit facetious. I can't believe why would you do this to us? But it sure is. And you know, it's interesting too, because Hoskinson, I can appreciate certainly that he's spoken out against the SEC, but part of that was probably, maybe a large part of that was in self-interest, because I think he understood that there was always a possibility the SEC could come after him and Cardano. And that's happening. So it was a smart strategic move to say what he said in terms of defending XRP on that front. But getting into all the grand conspiracy stuff, well, that was a misstep, because now you're going to have fewer people defending you, people in the XRP community that otherwise would have defended you. Now, I'm still going to defend you. I still hold Cardano, and I implore everybody to do so. I think that's what's in a general sense in our best interest, just speaking broadly, we in crypto. But not everybody's going to, and I understand that. And here you have a tweet from Fred Rispoli naming all those coins that today were asserted to be securities in this suit against Binance. I'm not going to read it. I just thought I'd throw it up on the screen for a second there. And then there's also this from Fred Rispoli. He said, hat tip to Eleanor Terrett for helping me realize something. Although it does make sense for SEC to not attack XRP and other lawsuits as the Ripple case is nearing an end, the more accurate reason might be that any lawsuit with XRP is an open invitation for John Deaton and the rest of the Amici to come in guns blazing. Now that is some insight right there. Now, obviously, we can't hear from John Deaton today, especially with the the fact that his Twitter account is hacked. I really hope that gets resolved quickly. But knowing John, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't have any insight, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up going a bit proactive on this as well, because he's jumped in the XRP case, the library case, and he's got some fire in the belly. You know what I'm saying? So he's obviously not under any obligation to do anything whatsoever. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he feels like jumping in some capacity. But certainly if XRP were listed, I could see where it would be like, okay, it just makes it that much easier. Like, here's the opening, right? So I thought that was pretty insightful. And then Fred Rispoli also wrote, as Coinbase is an upstanding, he tagged Coinbase, by the way, as Coinbase is an upstanding organization that always engages in regulatory compliant business operations, it surely, unquestionably will delist, and then he names all the coins that were cited here. I'm not going to read them, they're on the screen, but to be consistent, right? And then XRP community member Wheezy, though, responded, nope. Look what they said in their SEC filing. And I've actually covered this before. I'm not going to read the whole thing that's on your screen. But this is basically Coinbase saying, well, even if the SEC says that certain coins that we're offering on our platform are allegedly securities, we won't necessarily delist them. And you can see this tail part right here. They wrote this from Coinbase, quote, alternatively, we may determine not to remove a particular crypto asset from Coinbase spot markets, even if the SEC or another regulator alleges that the crypto asset is a security. Well, there you go. And with, by the way, the reason they did that is because with Coinbase being a publicly traded company, they needed to make sure that investors were aware of potential risks and how they might respond, so on and so forth. That's the reason that exists. And I can't remember when that came out. I covered it at the time. It may have been some months ago. Interesting in light of what we're seeing today, though. And then there was also this, because one of the cryptocurrencies also named, in addition to Cardano and all the others, was Algorand. And now, Algorand had also been cited by the SEC as a suit, as a security in another suit. It might have been the Wahi case, I want to say. I could be mistaken. I think that was it, though. There's too many damn lawsuits from the SEC. I can't keep it all straight, son. But there is a clip here of Gary Gensler back when he was teaching at MIT before he was SEC chair. And he was shilling Algorand. He absolutely was. I've talked about this in the past. And so attorney Jeremy Hogan shared that clip and wrote the following. I bought Algorand because Chair Gensler praised it and its founder back in 2019. And now the SEC is alleging Algorand is an all unlawful security. Maybe I should just stick to Bitcoin and XRP. And hey, Jeremy Hogan, good point. Bitcoin and XRP not listed in this particular suit, so what? Maybe it's in the clear now. And then attorney Hogan also wrote, for those wondering about the legality, since Kim Kardashian was sued by the SEC for a similar thing, here's the relevant law. Yeah, and just as a quick table setter here, I'm sure most of you will recall that Kim Kardashian was sued for shilling, what was it? Ethereum Max? I want to say, I'm pulling from memory, I think that's correct. And she acknowledged, by the way, that was an ad in the tweet where she was promoting it. She just didn't disclose how much she was getting paid, and apparently that better on the rear side ultimately. But yes, the SEC and Kim Jong-Gensler went after Kim Kardashian for a paid promotion on Twitter of that particular cryptocurrency, even though she acknowledged in the tweet that it absolutely was an ad. So that's why attorney Hogan here is saying, wait a minute, for those wondering about the legality, since one of Kim Kardashian, here's the relevant law. Because again, Gary Gensler was shilling Algorand. And attorney Hogan says the issue is whether Chair Gensler was paid directly or indirectly by the issuer for the speech. And he shared this little screen grab, which reads as follows. It shall be unlawful for any person to publish, give publicity to, or circulate any notice, circular, advertisement, newspaper, article, letter, investment service, or communication which, though not purporting to offer a security for sale, describes such security for a consideration received or to be received directly or indirectly from an issuer. Well, how about that? Gensler was certainly shilling. I mean, he's on video doing it right there. Is he going to sue himself? Is Kim Jong-Gensler going to sue Kim Jong-Gensler for this? I'm thinking probably not. Then there was this from attorney James Murphy, who goes by Meta Lawman on Twitter. He wrote, breaking, SEC sues Binance. Headline, the SEC complaint identified 10 tokens it deems to be unregistered crypto asset securities. And I thought it was 12. I read that elsewhere. But he cites 10 here. And then he says the SEC also alleges that Binance issued unregistered securities BNB and BUSD. The SEC is taking the position that the 10 identified tokens traded on the secondary market are themselves securities. Now, that's bonkers. Now, he came back a little bit later with some additional thoughts on this. And this is interesting because you may recall that Brian Brooks was briefly CEO of Binance US, and then he just left. And we were all just sitting there like, oh, okay, what went wrong? What happened? Why did that? What? Because the CEO before him was a former Ripple employee. Oh, God, what's her name now? It's like Catherine something. It's like on the edge of my brain right now. I think it starts with a C anyway. I could be wrong on the name, but anyway, the point is that there was this a former Ripple employee who became the Binance US CEO, and then she was just ousted, and there's not a lot of clarity on why that happened. Brian Brooks came in. He was there for just a few months, and then he was gone, and then we're scratching our heads like, okay, what the hell is up with Binance US? Now we have some insight as to what might be the reason, and this is what attorney James Murphy had to say on this. The SEC complaint against Binance appears to solve the mystery of why Brian Brooks abruptly resigned as CEO of Binance US in 2021. CZ allegedly reneged on promises that Brooks would be given autonomy to run Binance US independently from Binance. The complaint cites an unnamed source who ran Binance US briefly in 2021. We know from the dates in the complaints that the source must be Brian Brooks, who ran Binance US for 3 months in mid-2021. The complaint quotes testimony Brooks gave about his brief stint as CEO. Brooks testified that CZ broke promises made to him in the recruitment process. As Brooks put it, quote, "I realized, I'm not actually the one running this company, and the mission that I believe I signed up for isn't the mission. And as soon as I realized that, I left." End quote. The quick departure was a wise move by Brooks, as he was able to exit with his reputation intact. And he is now positioned as a witness rather than a target of the SEC enforcement action. Brooks, a former comptroller of the currency, is a respected proponent of crypto. Yeah, and I'll say I've always thought that Brian Brooks is rather sharp, and when it comes to stuff on the regulatory front, he's on our side. So we got a little bit of clarity here. Now, I always thought something very peculiar, and that always made me feel a bit uncomfortable. And so maybe look, not that I want to defend the SEC, and this is all new today, so I don't have a fully formed opinion here, just to be clear. But even though the SEC is full of crap as it pertains to the allegations about cryptocurrencies, it's possible that they could have something on this particular front. But again, this is all new information. I need to learn more. Let stuff digest. I don't have a fully formed opinion on this because stuff's really fluid at this particular point, but that's just kind of one of my initial thoughts on the topic. Like maybe there is something there, because honestly, even before the suit, I always thought that seemed a little peculiar and perhaps shady. Is what it is. Then there was this. Attorney Bill Morgan. He says, Binance hitting back hard. Jurisdictional land by the SEC protecting investors, not the SEC's priority, etc. And so here's a little snippet of what Binance said in response to this today. The SEC's actions here appear to be in service of an effort to rush to claim jurisdictional ground from other regulators, and investors do not appear to be the SEC's priority. Because of our size and global name recognition, Binance is an easy target, now caught in the middle of a U.S. regulatory tug of war. End quote. Yep. I mean, just yep. That's pretty much it. That's exactly it. And I do like that Binance is right out the gate just calling it what it is. Call a spade a spade. And we can all see that that's the case here. So I like that they're not being particularly tepid or soft in the early moments of this particular suit. But this is going to be a multi-year tussle here. We're going to be hearing about this for a long time, and more stuff's going to come out. So buckle up, folks. Then there was this from Library. The Gary Gensler SEC is responsible for the destruction of billions of dollars and the bankruptcy of thousands of innocent Americans. It's not enough to just fix the problem. They must be held accountable. Yeah, and isn't that something? All of this quote-unquote protection. Do you feel protected? Because every time the SEC has done something in the realm of crypto, it's harmed me financially. My net worth goes down. And look, I know what the hell I'm doing with this crypto stuff as much as one possibly can. Like, there's sufficient information. I understand the risks here. And investing in crypto is highly risky. I'm not pretending like it's not. I could lose everything. I get that. But what the SEC is doing is not helping me. None of this is helping me. If it were up to the SEC, we wouldn't have this opportunity for life-changing wealth. And it's just disgusting. Then there was this from Attorney Bill Morgan. He retweeted what I just shared with you from Library and wrote, how many investors with long positions were liquidated today? The SEC well knows that the market in crypto rises and falls together. Every time it files a lawsuit against exchanges, many investors suffer losses. And then somebody responded to him and wrote, me. At least the stop loss stopped too much damage, so just wiped out 2 months worth of profits. You've got to laugh or else you'll cry. Now, let's think about this. My net worth has gone down today. That guy's went down today. If you're in crypto, yours went down today. What are they doing to help us here? It's a farce. Attorney Morgan wrote back to him and said, sorry to hear that. You probably had a sound position, but we have a regulator taking enforcement steps in one country that are impacting on every crypto asset at a global level. Spot on, Attorney Morgan. So we'll see what happens here. Again, XRP not included in this for strategery. Not surprised. Because I think that they understand there's a pretty reasonable chance that regarding the SEC v. Ripple case, not necessarily going to go so well for them, even if they get a technical win against Ripple. In terms of what XRP is and regarding secondary markets, I think they're going to get bitch smacked. I'm pretty sure they're going to get a little bit bitch smacked because they're baby back biatches. That's my suspicion. We'll see what happens here. More to come, folks. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because if anything I say are right, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.